The silence that fell over Kingsley's, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant, was so thick it felt like it had weight. Conversation ceased. Cutlery froze in midair. Dozens of eyes fixed on the small space between the tables. 10-year-old Lucas Montgomery was visibly shaking. His legs, trapped in heavy metal braces, wavered as he reached out to Diana Johnson, the restaurant's only black waitress. The live piano had just begun a soft melody, and the boy's impulse to ask someone to dance came without warning. "Sir, control your son." Manager Thornton's sharp voice cut through the silence like a knife. "That is inappropriate. This is not a dance hall, and our employees are not here to entertain children." Richard Montgomery, a billionaire and one of the most powerful men in the city, swallowed hard. It was the first time he had taken Lucas out since the accident that paralyzed him 2 years ago. A mistake he would not repeat. "Lucas, sit down." The order was low but firm, but Diana didn't move away. Instead, she did something that shocked everyone. She slowly untied her apron and placed it on a tray. "Mr. Thornton," she said calmly, "I'm leaving. My shift is over, and I can't dance in an apron." Before the billionaire could protest, she took the boy's trembling hand. For 3 minutes, the restaurant watched in stunned silence. She didn't try to fix him. She didn't rush him. She simply let him lead. As she walked away, Richard stopped her. "My office. Tomorrow. Zehn Uhr morgens." The room held its breath. Was she being sued or destroyed? The next morning, Diana stood in Richard's glass office overlooking the city. He threw a file on his desk. "I looked into you, Diana. You aren't just a waitress." Diana kept her head high. "No, sir. I have a master's degree in neuroscience. I took the waitress job to pay rent because a certain billionaire rejected my research grant 3 times without even reading it." Richard paused. "I want to hire you. To watch Lucas." "No, bien,"
I replied instantly. "I don't work for men who treat their sons like broken toys. Lucas doesn't need a babysitter. He needs to lead his own life." She placed a card on his desk. "If you actually want to help him, bring him here today. If not, stay in your tower." She walked out, leaving the most powerful man in New York speechless. 2 hours later, a Bentley pulled up to a rundown warehouse in the Bronx. The sign above the door read, "Freedom Steps." Richard looked uncomfortable, but Lucas's eyes lit up. Inside, it wasn't a hospital. It was alive. Children with disabilities were moving, dancing, and laughing. "Welcome to my world," Diana said, stepping forward. Richard watched as Lucas joined the group. For the first time in 2 years, the boy wasn't looking at the floor in shame. He was looking at his father with hope. Then, the music stopped. Lucas unbuckled his heavy leg brace. "Wait." Richard lunged forward. "He can't stand without that." Diana put a hand on Richard's chest. "Stop. Just watch." The room went quiet. Lucas took a deep breath. He wobbled. He shook. And then, he took a step. A clumsy, imperfect, beautiful step. Entirely on his own. Richard Montgomery, a man who controlled empires, fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. "I spent millions on doctors," he whispered. "How did you do this?" "I didn't," Diana smiled. "I just stopped telling him he was broken." Suddenly, the doors burst open. Reporters, tipped off by a leak, flooded the room. "Mr. Montgomery, is it true you refuse to fund this center?" Richard stood up. He wiped his eyes and looked at the cameras. He looked at Diana, who was ready to lose everything. Then, he looked at his son. "Yes," Richard announced loud and clear. "I did refuse, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. But today I am correcting it. Montgomery Industries will fully fund Freedom Steps for the next 10 years. The room erupted in cheers. But the loudest sound was Lucas laughing as his father finally hugged him, not as a patient, but as a son. It took a billionaire to sign the check, but it took a waitress to teach him the value of a single step. True power isn't about controlling the world. It's about empowering the people in it. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel. And remember, sometimes the person serving your food has the lesson you need to learn the most.